And welcome back. Thanks for watching NTD News. I'm Kelly Wright, and I'm joined now by the Congressman from Florida, Congressman Byron Donalds. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I'm delighted to have you for this conversation. Let's have a conversation about our America.
Right.
What's the hope for America?
Me personally, I think it's bright. I think it's brighter than ever because what you see in a lot of media and, social media clips is that, we have Americans who are at each other's throats, politicians at each other's throats. But then I also try to keep in perspective how far America's come and where America's going. I mean, look, even right now, you got two black men holding microphones and we're doing an interview. This is a picture unseen in America 60 years ago, but it's America today. And it's not just that we're just two black men, it's that we have an ability to use our talents, our abilities to further our lives, to do good by our families. That's a powerful thing, not something to be lost lightly. Now, look, we got political issues we got to get worked out. And I think that's the beauty of elections, because elections help you refocus and clarify things. We just went through one. We're going to go through another one. But the people of the country, I think, one, are kind of tired of the politics that divides families. And I think they're kind of past that at this point. They just want to see solutions. They want to see the work done. And they just want to be able to be focused on their lives and what their dreams are, what their visions are. And I think the people are there, which is why, my view of where America is going is going to be great. It's going to be bright. But, we're going to need leadership to keep the thing going on the tracks. And I think the leadership is there to get us there.
What inspired you to run?
Oh man, I was mad more than anything else. I was in the business world, and it was the financial collapse in '08. I didn't think the members of Congress even understood the issues or took them seriously, or they were focused on their other things, and I didn't really understand politics. So I was more dumbfounded and questioning and mad. And as I started doing my own research, my own reading, found out I was actually very conservative. And people in my area in Naples, they asked me to run for office. And that started a journey I never thought was ever going to happen. I was apolitical like most Americans.
Yeah.
So I was just a regular guy. And that journey's been phenomenal. And I got the bug. I ran for office. I lost, but I enjoyed debating ideas. I enjoyed seeing voters and talking to voters and trying to find a way to kind of, meld it all together to accomplish something.
You said something. You were driven by anger to step into the fray.
Yeah.
One would arguably say, looking at it from the outside looking in, it was a righteous indignation to step out and say, well, my country or my government failed me on this issue, so I want to go in to see if I can at least do some good to right a wrong. I'm not trying to put words into your mouth, but did you feel that you in some way, as a African-American man who was apolitical, and as you know, a lot of African-Americans lean to the Democrat Party, yet they have conservative values, but they don't really like the Republican Party because some of them feel alienated from it. So what was going through your mind when you said, I'm going to go out and I'm going to run and I'm going to help people from all ethnicities and racial backgrounds?
I mean, that's a lot. First of all, righteous indignation, and that's a very Christian way to say that, brother. I appreciate you. but I mean, my mother, growing up, she would always tell me, Byron, you always have to think first, is it logical? And she said it so many times in a day, let alone every day. The second thing she would always tell me is, don't follow the crowd. Just because everybody's doing something doesn't mean you should be doing that. Sometimes you're going to have to go your own way. And, that's kind of the foundation for how this whole thing has happened. Because, as a black man who's also a conservative, I mean, it's hard. Because you have to be willing to stand on some issues that a lot of people who grew up the way I grew up are like, what are you talking about? But I just try to stand on the things I believe are right, the things that are going to lead us forward. And hopefully in engaging people and explaining these issues, they'll start to see it my way, or not even see it my way, it'll cause them to think about the issue for themselves. And then they decide for themselves what they think the right course of action is, as opposed to just listening to dogma or narratives or news clips, or the bottom line on media channels, trying to tell them what the issue is.
You talked about your mother, and that's something that resonates with me because a lot of African American men talk about their moms. For me, it was only my mom. Was it that way for you? And did she provide that special guidance to help you become the man you are today?
It was only my mom. It was just me and her. And that special guidance was called, a spanking every now and again. It was special guidance. Listen, man, my mom is a tough lady. She's probably like, Byron, why are you telling these people my business? But no, she demanded excellence. And her view was, she would always say it, she was like, I have to be a mother and a father. And so she demanded excellence of me, even at times I didn't want to listen, didn't want to hear it. For the kids watching, that's good. If your parents are hard on you, that's good parenting, because they're preparing you for the next wave of life. But how I've gone through college and, my ups and downs in college, coming out, becoming a man, becoming a husband, becoming a father, a professional, and now, in the political realm, all that still goes back, to my mom. The way she demanded excellence of me, I demanded of myself. I don't just go out and just run my mouth. I actually take the time to know something before I say something. There's a lot of times I actually don't say something. But that's all it stems from her. She laid the foundation for me.
What's your mother's name?
Meredith.
My mother's name is June. And June is no longer here with me, but quite like you, and I guess the reason why I want to have this conversation to delve deeper into that is because the stereotypes that people have towards African American men, it's about they're fatherless and they're not able to do anything. And you and I, we not only break the mold, we are part of that legacy of strong African American God-believing, God-fearing women who said, well, your daddy isn't here, but I'm going to play both roles. It's not easy.
Nope.
But look at what you've accomplished. Look at where we are today. And that's not touting our horn. That's me really giving praise to God and gratitude to my mom. And so from that perspective, Congressman, what do we say to African Americans about where they are in life because of the political and racial division that we find in this country?
I mean, my message is always simple. In 2023, you can basically get done whatever you choose to get done. If you choose to be a grinder, to hustle, to live out your dream, to find a way, those pathways exist in 2023 America. They were in short supply, if non-existent at all, in 1923 America. Very different time. You got to understand the trajectory of this experiment in self-governance. It's not always been pretty. Sometimes it's been disgusting, and it's persecuted, especially black people in America. We all understand this, but where the country is now, where it's going, is tremendous. Don't let naysayers or, frankly, people trying to take advantage of fear and anger for their own purposes stop you from chasing your dreams, because you can do it. Everybody can, and the doors are actually open to you. And frankly, there's a lot of people cheering for you to do it. Like we're even in the cheer mode now. So that's the number one thing for young kids coming up. You literally stand on the shoulders of the civil rights era and of the era that followed civil rights, that started creating the very ladders that are so easy for you to climb. Don't take that for granted. Use that tool and use it to the best of your abilities, because by doing that, what you actually create is the tolerant America. You actually create the more perfect union if you now live up to your end of the bargain. You see, 100 years ago, they sacrificed, they bled, they marched, they fought, they argued for your ability to just sit in the classroom and learn, so you could actually use your tools and the talents that God gave you to be special, because we're all special in our ways. Now's the time to use that not to get caught up in fights from eras gone by, fighting bigger men, frankly, that aren't really here anymore.
Well said. There are threats against American society, as you know, though. Those threats are from within and also from abroad. We do have the specter of communist China, the CCP trying to derail who we are as a nation, as a people. And they relish in the division that we have on the left and on the right. How do we achieve, now that you're a member of Congress, how do we achieve having members of Congress sit down in bipartisan fashion to find agreement on what we agree and finding respect for what we disagree on, but having the temerity and the tenacity and the perseverance and the faith, by the way, to move the country forward as a whole to heal, quote, the soul of America?
Actually, I think we're on China. I think we're there.
We're there on China.
I think we are. I think it's bipartisan agreement that whether it's decoupling from China, being serious about the advances of China, I think you have Republicans and Democrats who are like, okay, we can get back to our squabbles internally down the line, or we can keep that going on the side, but we have to take this seriously. I think COVID-19 and how much America is reliant on supply chains from China really showed us that. So I think there is bipartisan agreement there. Now, on the avenues to be joyful warriors, to have strong debates but still actually treat each other as human beings and Americans, I actually think they're starting to come back. You know, I think the politics of personal attack, not the campaigns, because in campaigns there's personal attacks. We all know that. I mean, the politics of personal attack. I think that's coming to an end too. You know, I think Americans just want to be solutions-minded and solutions-focused. And if I can't agree with you, that doesn't mean I hate you. I just don't agree with you.
You just don't agree. Yeah.
And then when it comes time for the next election, yeah, I'm trying to win. I'm going to defeat you. Not because I don't like you, but because that's just competition. We're competitive individuals. We've always been competitive. Human beings are competitive. That's just the nature of life. But we have to remember that we're Americans. Our country cannot survive, in my view, another decade or two of bitter political divisions just for the sake of being bitter political divisions.
Appreciate you, Congressman.
No problem.
Pleasure to have you. Thank you.
Pleasure's mine.